As a dad of three, a husband, I have a full-time job, I'm getting my master's degree, and I've recently fallen in love with reading. It can be very difficult to find time to read, the silence to read, the want to read. But one of the things that has been very helpful has been finding little pockets of time to read. My wife does a really good job of giving me the time and the space that I need to read, and I spend a lot of time at night reading. I have found that getting off my phone and even deciding to turn the TV off at night has helped me become a better reader, but also these moments where I have 5 minutes, 10 minutes in between a store run, dropping off a kid at jujitsu. I just take this time to myself to read. And I made a video about mental health and reading and how much it's been such a help in my life and in my mind. But I wanted to share this video and these ideas because you could feel like you don't have the time to read, but you want to read. But it's creating the life and the little moments in between that give you the chance to read. And so maybe you're watching this video and you want to read, but you have a job, you have a family, you have all these other things in life. And most of these things are not distractions. My family is not a distraction. My job is not a distraction. Getting my master's degree is not a distraction. But I do have to create the environment and the space to get to read. And so though I have to read for school, for work, for life, I want to read for myself. And so I have to create the time and the space to do that sometimes. And sometimes it doesn't go well. Sometimes it takes me a while to get into a book. I'm currently reading All the Pretty Horses by Cormac McCarthy. And if I'm honest, I am currently on page 100. It's part 2 of the book. The first 60 pages of this book have been pretty boring. There obviously is some great writing in this. It's Cormac McCarthy. But it has been kind of hard to get into. But even finding 10 minutes, 5 minutes here and there to pick this up has been so helpful. I'm constantly in my thoughts and anxiety and stress, and luckily I haven't been facing any depression. But being able to get out of my head and hear these words and spend time with the author and spend time with myself ultimately has led me to become not only a better person, but a better reader. And I think it's in reading these books, it's in reading these stories that not only do you lose yourself, but you ultimately, I think, end up finding yourself. And I can create the time and the space to be with my kids. I think I'm better when I'm a reader because I do that. I can have the time and the space to be with my wife, to be with myself. And so one of the reasons I have loved reading has been because it creates that space in my head and in my heart and in my life. I think I can conversate better with myself, with my kids. I love my son. He is now at a point where he's asking me, hey, what are you reading? And I love that because I want him to have reading. I want him to be a reader. And the fact that carrying a book and spending the few minutes that I can have to do that instead of scrolling. Listen, I do that. I can mindlessly scroll a lot of times. I'm working on a video on how I like to turn off my phone for 24 hours once a week. But yeah, I just wanted to make this video to remind myself and even to remind you that maybe you want to get into reading and you can't find the time or the space, but you have to create that time and that space. Get rid of something else that is distracting. It's not about, I heard this line one time and I think it's so cool. It's not about adding another thing to your life. It's about getting rid of something in your life. And for me, that's usually social media. For me, that's usually mindlessly getting on Instagram. I can even sometimes get mindlessly on YouTube late at night. And I don't want to do that. I'd rather spend my time reading. I'd rather spend my time doing something so beautiful like the words in a lot of these books that I've gotten to read. So here's my encouragement to you to do the same. Find the time and the space, even if it's 5 minutes, even if it's 10 minutes, to get into some beautiful books. Read All the Pretty Horses by Cormac McCarthy. I'm currently reading it, and I'll be working on a video on that as well. Later.